Hello and welcome to another video with myself, Reverend Arlene C. So this is a very interesting video message. So it's something that's been coming up a bit lately in conversations I've been having, and then it came in really strong when I woke up in the middle of the night today at like 3 something in the morning. And then, like usual, I'm guided to the videos and information I'm meant to share. And it came in really strongly that this is something that needed to be shared. And of course, it's always just, from my perspective and from the information I receive from my inner realm or higher self, whatever term label you want to use. So what was coming through is the message of, I'm going to use the word danger, or the dangers of over analyzing, overthinking the self-healing journey that we're on. And it's something I feel that many go through when they begin the conscious awareness of the journey of self-healing and self-awakening, self-remembering. When we start to take the responsibility and accountability of our life and the life we've had up to this point, where we we see our role in everything, right? And we start to see that there's more to what makes us feel broken inside. And that's another aspect of it, where we're not broken, right? We are, taking away the programs, right? We're uncovering the programs, uncovering the old belief systems, what was taught to us, what we've allowed ourselves to believe from the ego, which the ego was trying to save us from ourselves, I guess, right? It's the only way I can describe it. So what ends up happening is we end up down this like rabbit hole almost. We allow ourselves to go into this rabbit hole of, I need to figure it out. I need to figure it out so I can fix it. And yes, there's a place for it in understanding, seeing, like I said, our responsibility in what's happened, seeing the mirrors in every person and every situation, right? And that's a big piece of when you begin the journey of self-awareness, right? Of this conscious self-awareness. And we see that, often a lot of, let's say, medical issues that come up, or physical symptoms, let's say, that show up in our body. And we realize that there is this emotional, spiritual piece to it that has activated it in our body, or, as a symptom. And I don't like the word symptom, but we're going to just use it for the sake of the video to get the point across. But what ends up happening is we get so wrapped up into that. So we almost cause this like fatigue within us of trying to understand what's going on, and trying to pinpoint the root of the cause. And that's where we start to get into this dangerous rabbit hole, where there comes a point where it's us fighting ourselves again, and it's really us coming from a space of ego again, because it's the ego that wants to know everything, because it feels that if it knows, then it could self-preserve itself, right? It can keep itself from feeling these highs and lows, because if it can control it, then you're safe, right? And then we understand too that really control is just an illusion. But again, I'm kind of getting off a little off track. So Because again, us as humans, we don't like to feel uncomfortable. We don't like to sit in what we perceive as messy or icky, right? The the good and the ugly. And that is again where I said where things become dangerous for ourselves, because then we cause ourselves to get lost in this loophole of I need to fix it, I need to fix it, I need to fix it. When what is actually needed is to sit in it, right? It's having that awareness for a moment to say to yourself, okay, this, what we perceive as negative self-talk or this worry that keeps appearing, right? And you let your, mind wander. And then, of course, we've been taught, like, no, don't let that mind wander. Don't let those thoughts happen. Push through it, right? It's okay. Just push through it. If you can control it, then you can push through it. And that just causes a back assward, kind of outcome. And in the end, we just keep causing ourselves to repeat and repeat and repeat because we haven't sat in the messy, learned to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And it's about not trying to talk yourself out of it, right? Like that is a big piece of what happens. There comes up to a point where the need to try to figure it out only hinders your growth, because now it's not so much about the logical, it's about you need to feel it. Well, sorry, as I probably just hit the mic. You need to feel it. You need to let yourself sit in the dirt, sit in the mud, like a lotus. It sits in the mud, but it comes beautiful out of it, right? Like it thrives in the mud. And we are very much like that. We need to thrive in that mud right now. So it's about allowing yourself to sit in those really icky, which we again perceive as icky feelings, right? Because we're coming at it from the human perspective. And that is what the message that my inner realm really wanted us to bring through. That, and you'll begin to catch yourself more as you sit in this space of conscious awareness of, okay, I'm the observer of my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts. They're not true, right? So even if you can catch that for a second, right, which is great, because it's like you catch it for a moment. So, for example, for me, okay, so a big, I guess, piece of my anxiety that I will experience is when I think, it's really about my children, right? My boys. So thinking about them, thinking about their needs. If I was to die today, what would happen to them, right? And, or being able to support them in the ways they need, so so often I will get sucked down this rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, like, what happens with this, blah, blah, blah. So I've started to learn that instead of me trying to figure it out or try to come up with a solution, it is more about the fact of, okay, just let it rise up. Because I've also said to myself, even for just a moment, I know that this is just something that needs to rise up. There's something that is clearing and purging, right? Something within me is clearing and purging. This needs to rise up so that it can move through. And I understand there's a good chance that I am not going to figure it out. It's probably going to happen again, and it's going to happen often. So it's more of like, okay, I just need to let all these thoughts happen. And as these thoughts are happening, I just keep breathing. I breathe into it. I breathe into where I'm feeling it in my body. Just breathing into it. And when I can, I'll catch myself and just say, okay, I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting this icky feeling. I need to feel it. If I need to cry, if I need to scream, I'm not going backwards and I'm not going forward, because that's not how it works. I'm in it right now and I'm going to be okay. And I just got to keep reminding myself, I'm going to be okay, and this isn't going to break me. This isn't going to kill me. I need to just allow it to be. So I feel that that is what happens. We get ourselves locked in this loop of like, oh no, but I got to figure it out. Oh no, I got to figure it out. And then I fight it and I fight it and I fight it. So you're really just constantly putting yourself in this awful loop and you're not getting anywhere. And it's not always so much about getting anywhere, right? Because often people think that this road to self-discovery is going to take you to some magical destination. That's not how it works. You're not going anywhere. But what you are doing is, it's all about a state of consciousness. That is technically the destination, right? So, and again, I'm not going to go into like, fifth dimension and ninth dimension and 12th dimension, stuff like that. But at the same time, those dimensions are a state of consciousness. They're a state of your current awareness and where you've risen your vibration and frequency to connect to that. So it's like a radio station. So you need to build the antenna in you to then be able to catch, and I'm doing this because I'm old and that's how radios used to work. So, and you're trying to find the dial to get to that radio station, which is the dimension of that state of being. So that's kind of the best way I can describe it in a short way without making this video, hours long. So that's the message. The message is, allow yourself to sit in the mud. Allow yourself to learn to be okay with being uncomfortable. Allow yourself to be okay with not liking what you're feeling and what you're experiencing, because it is not real, but it feels real, right? Because we've believed it and gone through it so many times that it feels real, right? And it feels like there's no way out of it. But there is always that little bit of light at the end of it, in that darkness, right? Because you are the light in the darkness, and you are the darkness in the light. You're all of that. I'm really hoping this this video is making sense. But it's really important to allow yourself to just feel that. And even for, if you really are sitting in a sense of, I'm afraid of it, then set a timer on your phone. Set a timer on your phone for 15 minutes and give yourself 15 minutes to sit in that crap. Let yourself sit in the shit. Let yourself sit in the mud. If that's what you need to do, set your alarm for 15 minutes on your phone. Let's say 20, because usually 20 minutes, like when you're, in my training and stuff that I've learned in the, especially like when I was taking my massage course to become a registered massage therapist, it always takes at least 20 minutes for your body to shift modes. So like if you go for a run, it has to be at least over 20 minutes, because it takes that amount of time for the body to activate and shift and understand, like, oh crap, you're doing something for me, right? So that is with this too. So at least a good 20 minutes, a little bit longer if you can. Give yourself permission to sit in that space, and understanding that yes, every once in a while your mind is going to go titter-totter back and forth, the teeter-totter, right? Of like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking this. It's like, and just be like, no, I'm allowed to be feeling this and thinking whatever is coming, because it's not real, and it's technically really not important in the big scheme of things. If you look from the higher perspective awareness, from the seat of consciousness, it's all bullshit and none of it matters. But to the human right now, it matters. And again, that's something totally different, and I'm trying to make this as much of a cohesive type of message as I can. But like I said, the main purpose of this is to allow yourself to sit in the mud of uncomfortableness without trying to fight it, trying to talk your way out of it, trying to say, oh no, I can't sit in it because then I'm going to do this, or I'm going backwards, I'm going forward. No, there is none of that. You are always exactly where you are needed to be and where you are meant to be. So if right now, at this moment, you're meant to sit in a space that feels icky and messy, then sit in that space. And like I said, if you need to, set an alarm on your phone. And then you can do the different things that you used to do to kind of help you get out of it. So if you need to move around, throw on music, dance. But it's always important to breathe into that space, breathe into what's happening, and just allow it to rise and see it play out like a movie. Do your best to not get sucked into it and believing that what is happening, because it is just programming, purging out to clear. I hope that made sense. Of course, please always share any comments that you have. And I really hope that this helped you in understanding that being a conscious being isn't about figuring out and fixing it. It's about being present. It's about allowing yourself to feel the icky feelings, because again, that's the human perspective of good and bad, icky, messy, pretty, and ugly, right? But our soul knows that that's not how it is. But again, we are working with the human. We're working with the ego. And the ego doesn't like to be uncomfortable. And I guess we're done because the information stopped. Love you all, surrounding you all in love. You got this, just breathe. Breathe into it. Breathe into that conscious awareness. Breathe into the space knowing I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. This isn't real, but it needs to rise to the surface. It needs to work its way out of my body. Just like when you're sick and you have a virus, you need to work it out of the body. It's the same thing here. Again, surrounding you all in love. Thank you for being here. Until next time. Have a wonderful week.